So, you've got some big questions, and what you decide will determine the rest of your life. Questions like, will I be able to survive? Is it worth the risk? And where and why should I go? I can tell you honestly, I don't have all of the answers for you. And some of these questions you're going to have to dig into yourself and explore it with God and with your family. But some of the answers I can give you today, I think they will really help you out in your decision-making process.
What advice would you give to new students? So for any new student, I would say just come open-handed, be ready to be challenged in some of your beliefs, but know that God is with you through this entire journey and that there's amazing people here to walk beside you as you have questions and you grow in your faith. Just be prepared to grow and be challenged in a good way.
I think SBC talks a lot about community, and I never really believed it until I came here. You get out of community what you put into it, and so I'd highly recommend getting involved. And then I have 3 other things. Drink lots of water, take naps, and take a Sabbath. All 3 of those things are super important for your mental and emotional health, and they'll help you have a better long-term thing, because you'll be going to school for so long that you'll just be able to do it properly.
What do you want to do with your life? This is one of those questions that maybe it doesn't sound like a college question, but it really is. Deep down in the life of college and education and work, if you want to go become a doctor, you have to go get the education to be a doctor. If you want to go become an engineer, you have to go get the education to become an engineer. And it may sound like a bit of a weird question to talk about when it comes to Bible college, but the reality is if you want to be a Christian, there's an inherent value, a richness, a depth of character, a foundation of going to get the education to give you that foundation of a lifelong ministry wherever you go, whether or not you go back to university to go to become a doctor, an engineer, a philanthropist, an archaeologist, whatever it is you go to be. Having that core foundation of Bible college is actually something that's incredibly essential to living a life of following Christ. Can you afford college? This is one of the biggest questions that students entering into college have. How much money is it going to cost me? How am I going to pay for it? There's often a lot of free money available to college students through federal, through provincial, and through the school's own bursary program. If you apply for student loans, a lot of students get even up to half of those student loans as grants, money that you don't ever have to pay back. And even if you don't need the loans, it's still really wise to apply for those loans anyways, because you get free money. And that free money can go a long way in making a difference in your life financially, reducing the stress over the summers and allowing you to really enjoy your education while you participate in the classes and the community life at the institute that you end up in. Another question that a lot of students have and feel is, are they good enough to come to Bible college? It's a big question. It's a real question. And in our society where there's a lot of struggling individuals with mental health, and their journeys just are ones that have some of those personal questions of their value and their whether or not they have the capabilities even within them to make it through. If you look at Jesus called 12 disciples. Of those 12 disciples, most of them were uneducated. The few that were educated were things like tax collectors, the despised people of the Jewish nation at the time, and the uneducated, the fishermen, the farmers, the people that were just there. They were scraping by a living. These are the people that Jesus called to a 3-year education, walking alongside of him and learning from him. The scriptures are full of these humble people. Moses, King David, the lowest of his family, and yet he becomes the king. Ruth, Esther, there are stories throughout Scripture that have the lowest of the low people thriving. And the biggest reason is because they chose to surrender their lives to Christ or to God in the Old Testament. And that's one of the big things that we have to ask is, if you want to thrive at Bible college, at Steinbach Bible College, the big thing is, are you going to come at it with the humility, recognizing that you have a lot to learn? And I think for a lot of our third years, a lot of our grads, and including myself, one of the biggest things that I learned in college was actually how much I didn't know. And that becomes a rich and powerful tool as you enter into the workplace, as you go into ministry, wherever you go, is the humility of walking alongside broken and hurting people, using the love and the compassion that Christ has given you, and in turn, pouring that onto other people. And so the question of whether or not you're good enough, it's not actually the question. It's whether or not you're willing enough to let Christ get a hold of your heart and build a foundation within you. And if you're willing to allow Christ to move in your life, and if you're willing to enter into community and relationship with brothers and sisters here, you are coming to the right place. This is the place for you. This is the place where your foundation will be set for the rest of your life. And this is the place to start your journey of making a difference in this world for yourself and for the people around you.
What advice would I give to new students? I'd say just relax and give yourself grace to not do this whole college experience perfectly. It's going to be pretty hard and pretty scary, but at the same time, it's wonderful and life-giving. So just ease into it and try not to be too hard on yourself.
A piece of advice I would give to a new student would be a lot with the don't stress, but also it's not all about academics. If you need to take time for yourself, take the time for yourself.
My advice for new students would be don't stress so much. Allow God to kind of take control of your plan, and it's okay if you don't have your whole life figured out by the end of your first year.
The question of which university or college you should attend and why you should go to that particular college, those are big questions. And there's a lot of colleges and universities that are hoping that you come. More students in the classes helps the colleges run and operate. And colleges, even SBC, are actively trying to find the right students, the students that are going to be the most successful in their programs, so that the college can grow, and also the students that come will get the education that they desire. And answering that question is very complex. When it comes to Bible college, there are some questions that sometimes don't even get asked and are really important when it comes to selecting which Bible college should go. And even maybe before that is, should I even bother going to Bible college? The reality for me is that if you're watching this, I would love for you to come and explore what Steinbach Bible College has for you. The world that we live in, if you're a Christian and you're striving to follow Christ, if you go to secular university or college, statistically, about 75% of you will not come out of college or university following Christ. That's a huge percentage of our young people who are leaving the church when they enter college and university. And it's a continuing problem throughout the college and education world. And it continues to grow as the internet grows. Why? It's not because our college students or that age group are any less intellectual or facing greater challenges. The reality is that there is just so much information out there that a lot of young people are struggling to find their foundation early on in their adult years. And what Bible college is for students is that place where they can separate themselves from their parents and even their local church, the place that they've felt comfortable, the place that they've grown up, and form their foundation in Christ, to spend time digging into the Bible, to spend time with like-minded, similarly aged students, to form a foundation with Christ that won't be shaken when questions come up in whatever university, college you go on afterwards. And so many students that even just take 1 year of Bible college, end up thriving at their university of choice for whatever degree, and then afterwards they actually end up thriving in life because they haven't been severely rattled. That rattling of what I grew up with, the uncertainties that I'm digging in, and the questions that I am experiencing right now, those questions and the frustration and the mental health that's related to that struggle is very real. And it can often lead to students finding themselves in darker places because they don't even know who they are anymore. And by coming to Bible college, it's a place for you to explore, to freely set up a foundation for you to choose to follow Christ. And so when we ask the question, is it worth the risk? That's really the question. Have you chosen to follow Christ? Have you decided that His journey for you, His life, and the rewards and the blessings that He gives you is actually worth the risk? It's worth the cost to follow Christ. That's the question that you really need to answer for yourself. Is following Christ worth the cost? Or, sadly, is it not? And that is actually probably the biggest question that high school students need to be asking, especially ones that are currently following Christ, and they need to make intentional decisions to choose to follow Christ. And that's my hope for you. And here at SBC, Steinbach Bible College, we love seeing young people come here, even just for a year, and then going into the marketplace and exploring their faith with a foundation that they get here at the college. A big question for students entering college and university is, how will college change me? And this may not be a question that they're able to verbalize or even think through, but it is a question that almost every other question when it comes to decisions after high school are based on. How is this going to change me? How is this going to affect me? How is it going to benefit me? Or how is it going to hurt me? And the challenge that we all face is that really the first 5 years of adulthood are almost as important as the first 5 years of life. Now, I'm a parent, and a lot of high school students aren't, and if you are, that's okay, but generally, high school students don't quite understand what it means to be a parent. The first 5 years of your child's life are so essential for setting behaviors, how they respond to other people, how they respond to life situations, how they respond to stresses and anxieties, and when they don't get what they want or when they do get what they want, showing them grace when they make mistakes, and also disciplining them. Those are big and essential tasks that parents have in the first 5 years of a human being's life. Those first 5 years out of high school, those are essential and incredibly important for the next journey of your life, which is a large portion of your faith journey. Wherever you go, however you explore that. So deciding to explore the question of how will this college and university change you is actually probably a fairly mature question to ask. And just like some of the other questions, college, university, the communities that you enter into those, the friends and people around you that you interact with, those are foundational, and they will change you. Your friends will change you. Your faculty will change you. The education you get will change you. And so asking the question, how will it change you? I think maybe is more based on what changes are you looking for? What changes do you want to have happen in your life? If you're following Christ, again, the question is, do you want that to change? Because that changes your decision for education. If you want to build a deeper relationship with Christ, then Bible college is actually an essential part of your faith journey. Some of the questions that come up when we're talking about how will college change you is the size of the student body, the method of teaching, even the theology of the college. There's Bible colleges, but not all colleges are the same. Some have an Anabaptist theology like Steinbach Bible College. Some have a more Pentecostal theology. Some have other theologies that change how you are shaped through their education. And the size of a student body, if you go to a student body of 2,000 people, there is a chance that you get lost among the mix, which will change you. Maybe for the worse, maybe you like being in the background. Steinbach Bible College has just over 100 students, and so it's a great place for you to connect with people in a real way and get to know the entire student body. And those relationships for most of our students are rich, they're vibrant, the depth of them are incredible, and they go on for the rest of their lives. So I would encourage you to ask some of these questions and find out what you really want, because that determines on where you want to go for your education. So there's always this big question of parents when it comes to decisions about college and university. For some of you, your parents are paying your way through college. Some of you, your parents don't have that kind of money. Some of you, your parents are going to like your decisions, and some of you, your parents are not. And even more so, for some of you, your parents' influence is heavy, and you want to make them proud, and you want to do something that they can encourage you in and build you up. And some of you have parents who will encourage you and build you up no matter what you decide and where you go. And for others, some of you are facing heavy expectations from your parents. Some of you, your parents don't care at all what you do with your life. The spectrum of parents is quite huge. And as you explore your journey forward, asking the question of how is your parents a part of this? How much do you want your parents to be a part of this? And even sitting down with them and talking with them as to why you want to make the decisions you want to do can actually be really helpful for you in gaining the support that you feel you need from your parents as you go through this journey. Having parental support, having your family behind you, if you can have that at all possible, it would be beneficial for you, it will be strengthening for you, it will be supportive for you, and really, in the end, if you can have your parents a part of your journey in whatever way they can be, I would strongly encourage you to invite them into the discussion, invite them into the options that you've narrowed it down to. Let's say you've gotten down to 3, these are the 3 colleges or universities you want to go, narrowing it down and saying, hey, these are the 3 places I'd like to go, and these are the reasons why. And just asking them for their input is a great way for them to buy into what you're doing, for you to get the support, and maybe, if you're lucky, for you to get some financial support from them as well. Leaving family, quitting jobs, moving from your hometown to a different place to go study with strange people in a strange place, that's a big, big decision. And a lot of students have the question of whether or not they're going to be able to survive that change. The reality is, as at most colleges and universities, there is what is often called as student services or student success. This is a group of people, often staff and students, whose job it is to make sure that you thrive at their institution. It's a way that people who've been through it before can walk alongside you, and all they need from you is a willingness to ask for help when you need it and to accept the help when it comes. And through that, the chances of you succeeding are really, really high. Most young people that make it into college and university make it through college and university to the other side.